Today in the show, we have the House of Mouse headlines brought to you by LaughingPlace.com, your up-to-date resource for the latest Disney news every day of the week. This episode is being released on June 26th, 2024, and here's what's been going on in the world of Disney recently. Disneyland's Haunted Mansion holiday returning before queue work is done, lawsuits over the Lake Nona move that wasn't, a new DVC lounge taking out a Magic Kingdom attraction, and more.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
In celebration of the new Disney Junior show Ariel, a limited-time bubble experience is coming to Downtown Disney. Starting next month from noon to 4 p.m. each day, a DJ will host a dance party at the Downtown Disney live stage and lawn. Every half hour, a special bubble moment will occur for guests to feel like they're heading under the sea with Ariel. This programming will begin on July 1st and continue until the 31st. Meanwhile, Ariel debuts on Disney Junior June 27th. Din Tai Fung's hotly anticipated arrival in Downtown Disney is here. The popular restaurant began a soft opening this week. It will be serving a limited menu until its grand opening next month. The location is the only freestanding Din Tai Fung built from the ground up, infused with architectural and design elements that pay homage to the company's Taiwanese heritage. With the opening of the restaurant, Din Tai Fung is also launching 2 new merchandise locations, including one specific to the Anaheim location. Reservations for Din Tai Fung at Downtown Disney can be made at the restaurant's official website. As previously teased, a new Disney Vacation Club member lounge is headed to Magic Kingdom. Unfortunately, however, this new location has led to the closure of a longtime attraction. The Frontierland Shootin' Arcade has now closed to make way for the new location. In the upcoming DVC Lounge, members will be able to unwind amidst the rustic charm of Frontierland and a new space inspired by the bygone era of exploration and adventure. It will provide eligible members with a cozy and convenient place to relax, and will offer comfortable seating areas, complimentary Wi-Fi, device charging stations, and more. Construction on the member lounge will be underway this year, and more details will be announced in the months ahead. In celebration of the Lion King's 30th anniversary, Walt Disney World has added a new Magic Band Plus integration to the popular Festival of the Lion King attraction at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Now, your Magic Band Plus will come to life with dancing lights and haptic vibrations during key moments throughout the show. Of course, this is just one of several Lion King offerings around the park this summer. Other happenings include meet and greets with Timon and Rafiki at Conservation Station, special food and merchandise, and the chance to learn to draw the Lion King characters at the Animation Experience. The celebration continues through September 6th. Fans of the new Walt Disney World drone show, Disney Dreams That Soar, can now enjoy a small piece of it at home. Similar to other entertainment offerings at Disney parks, the original song from the finale of the show is now available to stream on major music platforms, including Spotify and Apple Music. You can find the song by searching Dreams That Soar on your favorite service or on YouTube. Meanwhile, you can also catch Disney Dreams That Soar at Disney Springs nightly through September 2nd. Next month, Disney 80s-90s celebration and concert will take the stage at the world-famous Hollywood Bowl. Ahead of that, 2 more Disney legends have been announced as part of the show. First, Jodie Benson, the voice of Ariel in the animated Little Mermaid, has joined the lineup. Plus, Goofy voice actor Bill Farmer is also set to appear. They join already announced participants such as Susan Egan, Corbin Bleu, Krista Rodriguez, and more. Disney 80s-90s celebration and concert will take place at the Hollywood Bowl on July 19th and 20th. Tickets are still available at hollywoodbowl.com. According to Deadline, Ronald D. Moore has signed a multi-year overall deal with Sony Pictures Television after spending 4 years at 20th Television. But what does this have to do with Disney? Well, unfortunately, it seems as though the projects that Moore was working on at Disney will no longer be moving forward. These include a Swiss Family Robinson series, as well as a series set around the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, also known as SEA. Incidentally, when the Adventureland Treehouse opened in Disneyland, it featured some allusions to SEA, leading some to assume this would somehow connect the 2 shows. Alas, it seems as though that won't be the case for now. Of course, with Disney always willing to mine its existing IP, perhaps we'll end up seeing some new version of these proposed series in the future. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Well, he'll be cooking more of it for Disney as Dwayne Johnson has signed a new first-look deal with the Mouse House. More accurately, 7 Bucks Productions, co-founded by Danny Garcia and Johnson, has closed the deal with Disney. This will allow the pair to develop films for theaters and streaming. Ahead of that, Johnson is already set to star in the animated Moana 2, as well as the live-action Moana hitting theaters in 2026. During the recent Annecy International Annecy Film Festival in France, Disney-branded television made a series of announcements, including new titles, series renewals, and more. First up, Prep and Landing is returning for an all-new holiday special. According to the logline, when their holiday missions go awry, Wayne thinks he is in big trouble with Santa, which opens a vault of merry mishaps from the past. It's going to be hard to dig their way out of the snowbank this time. Prep and Landing, The Snowball Protocol, will debut next year. Also announced, Big City Greens is headed back to Disney Channel for a 5th season, while Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures Season 2 will premiere on Disney Junior and Disney Plus on August 14th. Lastly, new shorts from Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur and Super Kitties are also on the way. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur Moon Girl's Lab shorts are slated to premiere on June 28th, while Super Kitty's Super Adventures will debut on August 7th on Disney Junior and Disney Channel, followed by Disney Plus and the Disney Junior YouTube the next day. Hot on the heels of the release of Ursula's Return, the next chapter of Disney Lorcana has been revealed. Shimmering Skies will see the return of Wreck-It Ralph to Lorcana and bring in new characters from that franchise, including Vanellope von Schweetz, King Candy, and Fix-It Felix Jr. Starter decks for this 5th chapter of the TCG will come in 2 flavors, Amethyst Ruby and Emerald Steel. Also announced was an exclusive alternate art version of a card from Disney Lorcana TCG Shimmering Skies that will be available this summer in special, limited copies of the Disney Villainous Introduction to Evil board game. This exclusive foil alternate art version of Prince John, Gold Lover, is illustrated in the art style of Disney Villainous. Disney Lorcana Shimmering Skies will arrive at local game stores as well as Disney parks on August 9th, followed by mass market retailers on August 23rd. And now it's time to bring back Kyle Burbank from laughingplace.com. How you doing today, Kyle?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing pretty okay. Summer has officially hit SoCal, so I am all for it. Honestly, it was kind of funny because we were kind of having these ups and downs sort of thing, but like the day the official first day of summer hit, it's been like summer heat. So I'm all for it. I'm ready for it. I enjoy summer. What is your season order? Favorite to least favorite?
Fall's top.
Bravo. Love you for that. Yes.
Thank you. And then, I guess spring would be the other one, but spring is a little dicey here because that's when we get storms and stuff. Mm-hmm. Where I feel like fall, it's, that mix of hot days and cold days, but it kind of trends colder, whereas spring is the opposite. So I guess I'll put spring next. And then winter, summer, I guess summer, winter, but it depends. I'm one of those people that, 2 weeks into winter, I'm like, oh, can it be summer already? And then when it's summer, I'm like, I hate this. Go back to being cold.
I have a very definitive answer, and I have strong opinions about the seasons. Having grown up in Massachusetts, I feel I have the right to have strong opinions about the seasons.
You're a leafer.
I'm a what?
You love the leaves.
That's I do love the leaves. So fall, autumn, definitely my favorite for Halloween. And just the smell of death everywhere is lovely. Dead leaves, is wonderful. And the chill in the air. Gosh, I love fall. Like, no question, hands down, number 1. Number 2 would be summer. I enjoy summer stuff. I don't mind heat. Having said that, I live in Southern California where we get a dry heat.
I'm okay with California heat. Yes, and Arizona heat. I cannot do Florida heat.
The Florida heat, even the Massachusetts heat, like Massachusetts, it's kind of a crapshoot each summer. Sometimes it's a humid summer, sometimes it's not. But I do enjoy summer. I love summer activities. I love the beach. So summer. And then winter, because I find winter to be very cozy and I enjoy the coziness. Spring, I think, is lame. Like, I don't know. Spring is easily my least favorite.
And allergies.
There's little moments of spring I enjoy.
You're talking me out of spring.
Yeah.
But I might move. I don't know. Sometimes I might move winter ahead. But then talk to me when I have covered in snow and it's, negative wind chills, and then maybe I'll change my mind. But until then.
I'm sure people are riveted by this conversation, but shall we?
Disney news or seasonal rankings.
Let's get. We're talking about weather. That is literally like the lamest conversation you can have. But you're welcome, listeners. And don't worry,
the podcast.
We will get back to winter because we got some wintry holiday stuff to talk about in just a second. But let's start with, according to Variety, Inside Out 2 is now the top movie of 2024 in the U.S. with an incredible $285.7 million in less than 2 weekends. Now, this is great, obviously. The box office could use this boost. Pixar could certainly use this boost. And have you seen it, Kyle?
Jeffrey, I did.
Oh, you did?
I did. I saw a movie in a theater.
I am shooketh. I did not expect that response. What did you think of it?
I really liked it. I thought it was, there's a lot of retread of the first one, but I thought it did a nice job. Got me, it's stupid to say emotional because that's the whole point of the thing. But yeah, I didn't quite cry, but if I wanted to, I could have.
Yeah, it didn't really make me emotional. And here's the thing, I liked it very much. I'll start with that. But even the first one, I remember seeing it, enjoying it very much. But I've never revisited Inside Out. It's not like a world or characters that I love or anything. But I think that they're really well made. And this one especially, I was just watching it, and all I kept thinking to myself was, this movie is so smart and so healthy. And I can't, the amount of therapists and psychologists they must have spoken to, it must be an insane number. It felt really well researched. It felt healthy is a weird word to use to describe a movie, but that's what it felt like to me. And I honestly believe this movie will change people, which is even huge thing. Differentiating
fear from anxiety itself is already a really interesting concept in the way that they define those characters and define the separation between the two of them.
I almost feel like it should be must viewing for children of a certain age. I don't know. It just
big red flashing puberty button age.
Yeah, maybe around then, yeah. It just feels really healthy, and it was very enjoyable, and I'm happy to see it doing well. And it kind of, we talked, I think, on the last House of Mouse headlines about the Pixar strategy of, sequels on well-known properties. And this kind of just proves it, right? Pixar's been in a slump. They make this sequel, and it's been quite a few years since Inside Out, hasn't it? At least 4 or so, right?
More than that, I think.
I think so as well. Yeah, it's been a while.
I'm pretty sure I saw it. So I saw it at the Alamo, and when I saw the first one, that theater was still a different brand. So it was a long time ago.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, it feels like it was a long time ago, but I really have no concept of when it was.
I want to say 2015 or 16, but again, that's completely pulled out of my butt.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so that happened. So congratulations to the folks at Pixar, and yay for the box office. And listen, this whole conversation that we always get of people don't want to go to the movie theaters. I think, no, people are selective about what they go to the movie theaters for because the experience is so expensive these days, and there's always workarounds, right? The Tuesday $5 tickets or whatever, but I just think people are very selective with movies, and I really think that's what it comes down to. So, the proven property thing does help, and it's a good movie on top of that. I'm sure the buzz is, I haven't heard a single person say a bad thing about it, so that certainly helps. Anyway, let's move on because more entertainment reductions are coming to Disney California Adventure, unfortunately. Citizens of Buena Vista Street will not appear on Thursdays or Fridays during most of July, while the Warriors of Wakanda, who appear in Avengers Campus, will not be offered on select Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays throughout the month. And, this is on top of what we talked about last time with Club Pixar cuts, and I think there was another thing. Was there another thing last time?
The Doctor Strange show.
Doctor Strange, that's right. That's being cut. And I do want to mention, I got a message from a listener, Kevin, who wanted to correct something. And I kind of touched on this. Club Pixar does still exist. If you go to the Disneyland app, Club Pixar is noted. The thing that was cut was the Club Pixar dancers. So I remember mentioning, the games are still there and the photo ops are still there and all that stuff. I thought they had taken the name away from it. And that's kind of what I've seen reported, or maybe I'm just have been reading it wrong, but Club Pixar does still exist as part of Pixar Fest, but the Club Pixar Dancers, basically the live entertainment as a whole, has been removed. So thank you, Kevin, for correcting me. And yeah, it's just, it's a bummer to get more entertainment cut.
At least these aren't total cuts, though. At least they're just trimming back the times instead of completely cutting them like the other two.
True. Very true. And it's also, we're reaching that fiscal year end, right? So
Yeah.
budget. Alrighty, anything to add to that?
Nope.
All right, let's talk about Disneyland's Oogie Boogie Bash tickets because they are now on sale. June 26th, the day that this episode is released, all Magic Key holders are available to buy tickets with a limited pre-sale supply for them. And then tomorrow, June 27th, all guests it will be available for. They are using a waiting room for tickets, which is great, which will open at approximately 8:45 a.m. Pacific time, or at least that's what they say, with sales beginning no earlier than 9 a.m. Pacific time. And the online queue will offer a notify me option where you'll receive an email when it's your turn to purchase. So those are, good things to have in place if they work. And hopefully they work, because we all know last year was kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, last year was kind of a nightmare, and then Run Disney, you'd think that they would have their stuff together, and they just ran into issues and had to cancel one of their on sales. And I'm pretty sure it's a different system, although that one really adds insult to injury and charges you a platform fee at the end of it.
What is a platform fee?
It's just like a processing fee.
Oh, the ticketing. Wow, because it's not California. Have you seen the new law that passed in California?
I haven't.
California, it is now required for like anything where you buy a ticket, the full price needs to be shown up front. So none of this, the ticket's $100. Then you check out, oh, there's a $10 processing fee. Oh, there's a $5 Ticketmaster fee. Oh, there's another $15 venue fee, whatever. Like it needs to say it all up front. So it's kind of interesting. And I mean, it's great. I always prefer that. I hate when they try and get you through the door with a low price, like a Spirit Airlines kind of mentality. And then you just get all these things added on. I can't stand that. I'm like, just tell me what it is. I'm sure psychologically it must work because many companies do it.
Because we've seen that with resort fees for decades.
Resort fees drive me insane because I'm like, what if I'm not using any of your thing? Like, I'm paying for the room. If I don't want the gym, if I don't want the pool, if I don't want this, that, and the other thing, you're charging me a resort fee every damn day I'm there. Like, it's infuriating. But in any case, so Oogie Boogie Bash tickets on sale.
Happy Stitch Day, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it is Stitch Day, the day that this is released. Happy Stitch Day. What are you doing to celebrate?
Apparently writing about a bunch of merchandise, both new and very not new, that they send us every time it comes around.
All right, cool. I'm never, I got to see Lilo and Stitch again. I'll probably watch it again before the live action film comes out because I don't remember it that well.
I don't remember the whole movie that well. I remember specifically the scene where Lilo punches the other girl in the face, and because my friend and I were in high school at the time and went to go see it because we worked at the movie theater. So after school, we went to just go watch it for free, and we thought that was just the funniest thing in the world, the way it comes out of nowhere.
Nice. It'll probably be, I bet you that is not in the live action film.
Well, you never know.
You never know. But I would bet you on it that it's not in there. So let's move on, because speaking of Oogie Boogie Bash, an offering that was once part of that hard-ticketed event will now be available during regular park hours as part of Halloween time from August 23rd through October 31st. Mickey's Trick and Treat is an interactive show that encourages younger guests to sing and dance along with Mickey and Minnie Mouse. The show will take place at the Disney Theater in Disney California Adventure, and with colorful projections and a lively host dressed as a mad scientist, the show promises to be a happy haunting you'll not soon forget. And as I said, this was previously part of Oogie Boogie Bash only, and to me this totally makes sense, because this is like really, it's a cute show. I've seen it during Oogie Boogie Bash, and it is very much like preschool age, and I feel like even though Oogie Boogie Bash is not scary and it's meant for a Halloween offering for a younger audience, I still feel like preschool is very young. Like, it's a nighttime event. I don't know how many preschoolers are going, and I think once you get like beyond the preschool age, you're probably like, I'm too cool for this. And then like there's only like, I went once, I don't return to this show each year. So I think it makes total sense, and I think it's a great offering for daytime, and I actually think it'll be a big hit during the daytime.
Yeah, my first thought, I didn't know that this even existed, because I've been to Oogie Boogie once, and you can bet that I did not go check this out with what little time I had and how much I spent for that ticket, which I completely understand that even if you do have kids, maybe that's not the top of your list because there's so much else that you'd rather do.
Yeah, my first year, I think, my first or my second, maybe, I was like, I'm hitting every single piece of entertainment that is offered, and this was on that list. So, but that was a tough year, and I remember that year because they had the World of Color, which, only lasted that first year. Then they had this, they had Villains Grove, which, I consider entertainment, even though it's a walkthrough. What else did they have? I feel like, they have the parade. Like, there was a lot. I just remember, like, the schedule being intense. So I will be curious to see. My guess is it's going to become a trick-or-treat spot, but I'd be curious to see if they put something else in that space for the party, like show-wise, but it's probably going to be a trick-or-treat spot.
The trick-or-treat usually is coupled with a villain appearance.
A character, yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I think they could totally use that space, have one of the characters on stage, because we know that they've already said they're going to add more, and they seem to keep the old ones around, so they do need more space. So I think that'll be cool.
Well, they do tend to get rid of characters as they bring in new ones. So the rule, because of space. Yeah.
The biggest ones.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But that's that. And moving on from there, as the queue transformation continues at the Haunted Mansion, a new queuing process will still allow the attraction to open for the holiday season at Disneyland Park. Haunted Mansion Holiday will open for guests this Halloween and Christmas season. However, the fan favorite will only be available through a virtual queue when it reopens. While the Disney Parks blog didn't explicitly confirm an opening date for the attraction, Halloween time begins on August 23rd this year. So this is really interesting. So basically they're saying the queue isn't ready, and I think the goal was for it to be ready, so they're behind, yes?
Presumably.
The construction for the queue. So it was kind of an all or nothing thing. It was either going to be like, we're still closed because we're not ready to reopen, or it's going to be virtual queue only. Which I'm glad they went that route and not individual lightning lane. That would have been really, really horrible.
And it doesn't sound like that's even going to be usually, they have both of them. It sounds like it's just literally virtual queue only.
Yeah. And I mean, perhaps they're getting the message that people are frankly offended by individual lightning lane. But this is going to be one of those hellish sort of situations. I mean, I'm telling you, the most stressed I've ever been in a Disney park was the virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance. Like, it was chaos, and I kind of picture something similar for this. So I don't know, but it's better than nothing, I guess, but it's taken a long time for that construction to be completed. And there's still a Tiana ride to open. So
I keep, with all the opening in Florida getting closer, they keep putting out press releases, and I expect that one of them is going to be like Disneyland opening in early 2025, but it hasn't happened yet. They're still sticking to later in 2024.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it's like the week of Christmas or something like that, or 2 weeks before Christmas is my guess, which, that's fine. It's 2024, but yeah, I don't know. This seems very, very far behind. When did it close? It's been like since January. I think it was right after Haunted Mansion Holiday it closed.
That sounds right.
So it's been like, what are we at? 6 months. By the time it opens, it'll be eight or 9 months. Wow, it's a long time. So hopefully it's an amazing queue. I can't wait to see it.
And don't forget the store too.
And the store, of course. The store will be cool, but like, honestly, I'm just guessing. I could be totally wrong, but I would assume if they finish the queue, they could open the attraction and open the store later. Like, there wouldn't be a problem. So I feel like the queue should be the priority.
Well, did it rain for a few days? Because remember when that messed up the Toontown thing?
Yeah, I do remember that. We did have some rain, but I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But that's happening. And as expected, it's opening as Haunted Mansion Holiday. So there's that. Speaking of the holidays, guess what, Kyle? It's halfway to the holidays.
According to Disney.
Well, and actually it is. Like, they got it right this time. So this news was
got it right sort of. They did it on the 24th instead of the 25th.
Yeah, but you can count Christmas Eve. I count that.
Yeah, but for Halloween, they got it late this year, but they count from the previous Halloween. Now, obviously, Christmas is going to be closer because it's closer to the end of the year. But I would say June 25th, because it's from the beginning of the year to June 25th would be halfway. But I wonder how they're counting. I think it should be a couple days earlier, but that was a weekend, so they might not want to do that. It's all very complicated. They basically do it whenever they don't have anything else to do.
I think they actually announced it perfectly. I was actually really proud of them because they never get halfway to Halloween right. And when they did June 24th, because let's face it, a lot of people do this Christmas in July thing. And people think of that as the halfway to Christmas thing. And I'm like, no, that's 7 months in, July 25th. June 25th is exactly 6 months till Christmas. I accept the 24th because I think Christmas Eve is just as important as Christmas.
I agree. I think they did get it right. I'm just saying it. I don't know if it necessarily jives with what they've done previously.
Oh, no, I don't think they ever get it right. So I'm very proud of them.
Okay.
They got
Agreed.
it right. So there was a bunch of news that came out, so we'll go through this. 2024 Epcot International Festival of the Holidays will take place November 29th through December 30th. Of course, you can enjoy festive traditions from around the world with amazing holiday storytellers, delicious dishes, merchandise, entertainment, and more, each celebrating unique cultural traditions. Of course, the event will also include candlelight processional, and the festival will see the return of Living with the Land glimmering greenhouses. I'm not super familiar with this. Do they just put Christmas lights in the greenhouses? Do you know?
Essentially.
Cool. I dig it. Anything to plus Living with the Land is really cool. And additionally, the Holiday Cookie Stroll is back for 2024. And also returning is Olaf's Holiday Tradition Expedition Scavenger Hunt, where guests go on a quest to find holiday traditions that Olaf has gathered and lost along the way. Anything you want to add about Epcot?
I've definitely been to Epcot for this, but I've never really done all of the holiday things. So I kind of want to do that. And the scavenger hunts are always fun. This one sounds particularly fun, so I kind of wish I could do it.
Yeah, I got to get back to Walt Disney World for the holidays because I always go during Halloween and it's just too close to Christmas that I got to go and do that one of these years. But it's been quite a while for me. That used to be when I was a kid, like that was our normal time to go. We'd always go like right after Christmas. Very often the day after Christmas we would go. And once I spent Thanksgiving there, 1990. Thanksgiving of 1990. Wow.
The last time I would have been there for the holidays would have been 2012 when we saw Amy Grant do the candlelight processional.
Were you with Aaron Wallace?
You know I was.
Of course
I go see Amy Grant.
Nice. Excellent. Let's move on to Disney's Hollywood Studios because, maybe a little surprising to people, Disney Jollywood Nights is returning on select nights from November 9th through December 21st. Now, this was the new second Christmas party, hard ticket Christmas party at Walt Disney World that premiered last year. Started on some shaky ground, but it sounds like by the time it ended, they kind of figured it out. Which, you know, is normal for a first-year event. So, hey, listen, folks, if it's a first-year event, don't run to get those opening night tickets. Let your FOMO settle down.
It's like buying the first generation of a new tech device.
Yeah, exactly. Just chill and all will be well. And by the end, they'll fix it. And it sounds like, you know, it's even getting a little better this year because new this year, a skating spectacular set to iconic holiday tunes will take place on Hollywood Boulevard several times each night. Taking the grace and skill of international champion skaters in an awe-inspiring twist on the traditional ice show. This sounds cool. Now, do you think they're being legitimate when they say Hollywood Boulevard? Like, do you think they're going to make Hollywood Boulevard into a quote-unquote ice rink? Or do you think it's going to be like the end down by the Chinese theater?
I think probably the end by the Chinese theater, judging by the concept art. And I also noticed that they don't, except for the last part, they don't say ice skaters. So it might be some sort of...
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sure it's not ice. It's going to be one of those...
That'd be very impressive if they managed to keep real ice good enough to skate on in Florida.
I'll never forget there was a year where Nancy Kerrigan was doing a, you know, I think it was probably the Disney Christmas Parade or something on TV, and they had her ice skate in Florida, and so they had her on ice, but I just remember her ice skating and like splashing so much water because like they just could not keep it cold. So yeah, it's going to be whatever that material is that I think it's real ice skates that you can skate on it with. I could be mistaken. Maybe they're special shoes. Yeah, so that'll be kind of cool. And, it's always nice to see them invest. And a bunch of the stuff is returning. The Muppets will be back and all that stuff. So, in the Nightmare Before Christmas show that was very popular will be back. So that's happening. But it's not the only party returning, because Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is returning to Magic Kingdom on select nights from November 8th through December 20th. They'll have the parade, fireworks, castle show, and free cookies all returning. Didn't sound like they announced anything new for this, really, right?
Not that I could tell.
Okay. So here's what's really interesting. Starting on June 27th, hotels can be booked with guests saving up to 30% on rooms at select Disney Resort hotels for stays most nights from November 24th to December 25th, plus other savings for stays most Sunday to Thursday nights between October 6th to November 21st. Guests can also get free park hopper option added to their tickets when they upgrade to a Walt Disney World company package that includes a non-discounted 4-day or longer date-based ticket. Discounts during the holidays? What?
Yeah, but just so people are aware that it's definitely up to 30%. That's usually the 30% is from the most expensive hotels.
Sure.
And it's on the non-discounted price. And so there even might be better deals out there. So that's why, if a lot of people wonder why to work with a travel agent in 2024. And that's when it comes to Disney, it actually can help, because they can figure out what is actually the best deal instead of what just sounds like the best deal.
I've just never heard of discounts for the holidays, especially this far in advance. So attendance must be down?
Or even if attendance is people staying, attendance could be bolstered by annual pass holders.
Yeah, maybe. Very interesting.
Especially now that they have good to go days.
Yeah, I was shocked to read the news about the discount. So there's that. Also, on the other coast here at Disneyland Resort, holiday season kicks off November 15th, bringing favorite traditions like the Disney Festival of Holidays to Disney California Adventure, plus special overlays on beloved attractions, cherished seasonal spectaculars, and dazzling wintry decor throughout the resort. The new news that we got is that Mickey, Minnie, and some of their friends will debut charming new outfits in Disneyland Park, reminiscent of traditions of writing heartfelt letters to friends, family, or even Santa Claus during the holiday season, featuring striped stockings, detailed embroidery, and festive postal trims. All right, so the Disneyland love was not there with the holiday news.
No, what they did already announce the basic holiday dates earlier, so that's something. But yeah, not very exciting. It was mostly Walt Disney World, and then a few other the international parks. But they're like, we got new costumes.
Well, also speaking of it, Hong Kong Disneyland, they're getting into the holiday spirit for a heartwarming celebration of a Disney Christmas from mid-November through January 1st, 2025. And new this year, you can join the festivities with Queens Anna and Elsa and the citizens of Arendelle at World of Frozen in an Arendelle-style holiday celebration. So this is cool because World of Frozen is only going to be in like its second holiday season. The first that it basically opened during the holiday season last year. So I love this. I mean, Frozen, winter, it just fits hand in hand, and this makes sense.
Even though the first movie takes place in summer.
In summer!
That was pretty good.
Thanks.
You could be in the new Spaceballs. It's a voice double.
Starring Rick Moranis. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. If you don't know what we're talking about, Josh Gad is set to be in Spaceballs, a reboot, or working on it or something. I think it's early concept at this point, but
I was saying, like, he should probably stop teasing his projects on social media because they always seem to get canceled.
Yeah.
Just some personal advice.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we move on from the holidays? Is that enough Christmas talk for you?
That was so much Christmas.
So much Christmas. Halfway to Christmas. June 24th. There we go. All right. So the Los Angeles Times is reporting that a lawsuit has been filed for numerous workers who sold their homes in California and moved to Central Florida, all for nothing. As you probably remember, back in 2021, former CEO Bob Chapek and Josh D'Amaro announced plans to move over 2,000 California employees to a new hub in Lake Nona. Now, employees are angry at that decision, but many were prepared and followed through to make that move. The plan was canceled after by Bob Iger when he returned as CEO, and this proposed class action lawsuit is set to represent all affected cast members who chose to make the move. I believe that this should also include those who quit their jobs. I know quite a few people who decided to quit instead of move. I think they should sue as well. And I hope all of these folks get filthy rich doing it because, my God, this was just nasty. And it was nasty as an outsider looking in. I can't even imagine the heartbreak. Oh, just like if California, I can't even get into this. It's so infuriating. I'm surprised this didn't come along sooner, to be honest, this lawsuit.
These things take time. But yeah, I think it was... it makes sense, but also at the same time, I do wonder what sort of like legal precedent there is for these sort of things. Like, I guess in theory, the company should be able to do whatever it wants to do. So I don't know. Like, I think the people who moved and then it got canceled and probably still have more of a case. But as you're saying, like, this doesn't include people who quit. And I think they'd have a harder time. But that's saying as someone who knows absolutely nothing about the law.
Yeah. My guess is the whole thing's probably a hard fight because Disney's going to say, well, you had the option to not move and you chose to move. So it's not, it's not like they made them, but they put them in a really, really, really tough position. I mean, Imagine if you were like 5 years from retiring or something and the option is move or like, you have to find another job with 5 years left. Good luck at that age, finding a new job at that level or whatever. I don't know. It was nasty. It was a nasty thing in the first place. The fact that it even existed. Nobody was happy about it. I shouldn't say nobody. Most people were not happy about it. And yeah, I don't know. I feel really bad for those folks. I really, really hope they win, but I think they have a very hard fight ahead of them. So I'll be interested to see how that turns out.
Yeah, and like I said, when we first discussed this cancellation, I didn't realize it was so close. I always thought of it as being like a while away. So with that not being the case, that's hard.
Yeah. Anywho, let's move on to some Disney adjacent news. It's not exactly Disney, but the Jim Henson Company is selling the Hollywood studio lot it has operated out of for nearly 25 years. You're familiar with this lot, right? Right on La Brea?
Yeah, I drove by it plenty of times because I used to live over there kind of behind the Dolby Theater.
Yeah.
So I'd take La Brea a lot and pass it and see the big Kermit with a top hat, kind of a Chaplin look.
Exactly. So there's a giant figure of Kermit the Frog dressed as Charlie Chaplin's beloved bowler hat sporting character, the Tramp, because the historic lot was built as Charlie Chaplin Studios in 1917, and Chaplin used it himself until 1953. In the 1950s and early 1960s, the lot became Skelton Studios, and then a studio for the CBS network. From the mid-1960s through 1999, it was also used as the headquarters for A&M Records. The Henson Soundstage and Henson Recording Studios are currently located on the lot, and the sale is part of a much longer-term strategy to have the Jim Henson Company and their renowned Burbank-based Jim Henson's Creature Shop under one roof, which is not feasible in Hollywood due to the space the shop requires. This totally makes sense. Here's the thing. It's a bummer. I've been on that lot quite a few times. It's awesome. It's a cute little quaint lot.
A lot of it is shown in the Muppets, the Jason Segel movie, right?
Yep, you can see it in that film. If you have they've been selling tickets to go see Puppet Up there, the Brian Henson's kind of adult puppet improv show. They do it there usually a couple times a year. Obviously, that won't be happening anymore. I don't know if they have one more of those shows left in them before they move or not. I'm not 100% sure. But it takes place in that historic soundstage. And I mean historic. We're going back to Charlie Chaplin. It's historic. It's a bummer. I get it. I think it makes sense to have everything under one roof. As you know, I like, single individual packages. Yeah. Yes. And so I'm thinking it makes sense. It's not like it's a lot that Jim Henson built himself. Jim Henson was long gone by the time they even moved there. So, historically for the Henson Company, I don't think it's that huge of a deal, but it is just like a bummer. It's a cool space. I had no idea there was a Jim Henson Company or a Jim Henson Creature Shop in the city I live in. I had no idea. To me, Jim Henson Creature Shop was always London or New York. I didn't know there was one here. So I'm kind of blown away by this. And yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But I'll be curious to see where the new space is. It would be very cool if it all ends up in Burbank. I would like that.
And if they had shows that you could go visit, yeah.
Yeah. I should mention that the giant Kermit the Frog that used to adorn the entrance to Muppet Vision 3D at Disney California Adventure is actually on the Jim Henson lot in Hollywood. So actually, it's actually like my buddy's office is basically Kermit's backside. So Kermit's up against a wall on the, outdoors of a building. And then like right behind that is my friend's office. So that's kind of fun. But I'll be curious to see if this Muppet Vision 3D icon moves with the lot or not, because it says like, as everybody knows, I'm sure Disney owns the Muppets. The Jim Henson Company doesn't anymore. But it says like original home of the Muppets and has the big Kermit statue. So I'll be curious to see what happens, where they end up, how all this goes and all that fun stuff. But I thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, I also appreciate all the people on Twitter who were commenting that this sounds like the plot of a Muppet movie.
Oh, it does kind of. Yeah.
Like everyone, a lot of gifs of maniacal laugh when this news broke.
Cool. A couple little things I want to mention before we go. Did you happen to watch the Tony Awards? My guess is no.
Your guess is correct. But I did see Daniel Radcliffe and Kristoff both won Tonys.
Ah, yes. So Jonathan Groff, that's right. I forgot he was the voice of Kristoff. And yeah, they both won their Tony Awards for Merrily We Roll Along, but that's not why I mentioned the Tony Awards. I was very pleasantly surprised to see that as part of the In Memoriam, they honored Disney legend Richard Sherman, which, listen, I know he's done theater in the sense that like the movies he's worked on has been turned into theater, but those In Memoriams, they don't have the time to list everybody, so they have to pick and choose. I was very surprised to see Richard Sherman up there because as far as I know, the only things that he's done theater related are Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Mary Poppins. I know he's working on Jungle Book, but I think that's it. I don't think like he had any original musicals as far as I know. So I don't know. I was very surprised that the theater awards recognized him in that way, but I'm delighted that they did.
Yeah, maybe it's more just like a for the culture sort of a thing. But I did hear that he was honored, and I am curious if it was because it was so recent, if that plays a role.
Possibly. Quite possibly. Very cool. And then, I just want to mention, I got a great eBay purchase, one that I absolutely didn't need and spent more on than I probably should have. It wasn't insane or anything, but it's like, oh my God, am I really going to pay that for this? I have been looking for years. By the way, this was a late night purchase. This was
not a tipsy purchase, just tired.
No, just a late night thing. And I think I've mentioned this before. Every once in a while, like every couple months, I'll just go on eBay and search two things: Blockbuster Video and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I was delighted to be scrolling through on a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids search and find their children's read-along book that comes with a cassette tape that you play, and it has, when you hear the chime, turn the page sort of thing.
Like Peter and the Wolf sort of thing.
Oh my God. This came on my radar several years ago because I have like every book version of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I have like the kids picture book. I have the junior novelization, and it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Of course I do. And I came across, I don't remember this as a kid, but I came across it like probably 5 or 6 years ago, this read-along book. And I'm like, I just want to hear this tape because it's the character of Nick reading the book. And I was like, I just want this, to the point that like a guy who bought it on Etsy, I tried to find this guy and be like, listen, I just need to hear it. Like, I don't even need yours. Can you just make me a copy? Whatever. Couldn't get in touch with the guy. Searched everywhere online. Thought somebody would have uploaded the audio. Nobody has. I found it on eBay. So I have it. I have the book. I have the cassette. I now need to find a way to play the cassette.
You don't have a tape deck?
No. It's 2024.
Okay. Well, you need to be your own hero. So you need to not only find a tape deck, but then also find one that has an aux jack or whatever you got to do so that you can upload it to YouTube.
I have thought about this. I do feel like I need to do that. So that'll probably be part of the future for me. But listen to this. The story gets even better. So I post about this in an Instagram story. And guess who wants to get together and listen to it together?
Who?
Amy O'Neill from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. She's like, I want to hear that. I'm like, great, come over. We'll have a listening party.
And then I'll upload to the internet.
Then I'll
I wonder
upload
if like
it to the
Legacy Box or something could help you with that.
I don't know what that is.
You apparently don't listen to podcasts besides your own.
That's not true at all.
I think they digitize like old VHS and stuff. So I would think that they could do something converting an analog tape to.
Is Legacy Box the name of a podcast?
It's not a podcast. It's a company. But they're advertising a lot of podcasts. That's where that.
Gotcha.
That's where that reference came in.
All right. Well, I will have to look into that because I'm very excited. Like, it's been sitting less than a week now, but it's been sitting here, and I'm like, I literally need to find like a way to play a cassette. So I have an exciting evening in my future.
I have one on my turntable. I mean, it's a crappy turntable, one of those like, box things, but it's got a tape player on the side.
I do have a VHS player, which I think is more important than a cassette player.
I think we call those VCRs.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, back in the day, I always called it a VCR. Now, I only refer to it as a VHS player. I don't know when that changed, but that did change. It's funny. Anyway, aren't you so happy for me?
I am very excited for you. Did you got the book and the tape though, right?
Oh yeah, I got them both. Okay. Yeah.
Were they mint?
Oh no, very used, but I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. But that happened. And I also wanted to mention one other thing, which actually is connected to Amy O'Neill from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids as well, because she suggested me for something, which I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is not a hint to what this has anything to do with, because like this lacks details because it hasn't been announced yet. But I want to say that I will be moderating a panel at San Diego Comic-Con on Thursday, July 25th at 10 a.m. So if you happen to be going to San Diego Comic-Con in San Diego, California, on July 25th, look for a panel I'm moderating at 10 a.m. I don't think they'll announce it till like 2 weeks before, so I'm sure I'll mention it when they do. But I want to say I'm very excited. And it's the same weekend as Midsummer Scream, so it's going to be a busy convention weekend for Jeff DePauli.
And enjoy the 5.
Yeah, you know how it is.
That's awesome, though, Jeff. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited about it. It should be fun. And I've only ever been to Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con once before. And
Same.
I only did like the show floor and all that stuff. So this will be a new experience for me. So it's cool. Anyway, Kyle, anything you've done? Well, we all know you went and saw Inside Out. Congratulations. Inside Out 2, rather. And anything else that you've done?
Not that I've done, except for ruin my life by listening. Have you heard this new Disneyland Paris song?
I actually feel bad because you warned me and I meant to listen and I still haven't.
Okay, well, I'm going to sell it real hard, and then you can listen to it later and tell me that you agree. Okay. So they released this for apparently National Music Day, and I'm going to butcher the title, but it's whatever. It's Stories Come to Life.
Stories Come to Life.
Histoire prenant vie. And it's so bad. It starts off bad enough where it makes a really easy, simple rhyme that's kind of boring. But then where it really irked me the first time, whereas it says, Mickey, Minnie, and Pluto, now you can be the hero. Like, in what world does Pluto get third billing? And then you're trying to rhyme Pluto with hero? But then it gets even worse as it starts. It's basically like a press release set to music that was probably written by AI. And let me read you this line because it kind of references different attractions in the park and stuff. So it says, when you wish upon a star, you can fly, spin in a cup, even drive a car, fly into space, hide in a maze, and live a pirate's life for days.
That does sound like AI. I'm not saying it is. I'm not accusing anybody, but God, that sounds like lazy lyrics. Or is it a translation problem?
No, because the whole thing's in English. The only thing that's in French is the chorus, the one part in the chorus, and the fact that they say Paris to make it rhyme instead of Paris. It got to the point where I'm like, this is so funny that they start talking about the nighttime spectaculars. I'm like, if they just drop the word drones in here, it's going to be hilarious. And they do.
They do.
There's with fireworks, lights, and drones.
I bet you that somebody who didn't speak English wrote that. Some French person who's English was not their first language wrote that.
And it's not I don't think it's something that's playing in the parks. It was they said it was for Music Day and it's a social thing. But I can't believe that all the comments are people loving it, saying, oh, I've just added this to my playlist. This is amazing. It's awful. It's so bad. I hated that DVC song that came out a while ago because I'm just like, this is just cheap. What you like is the music. It's got like emotional chords and stuff, but the lyrics are crap. This is like another level of crap.
And this is now streaming?
That's another thing. It's on YouTube. You can find it on Disneyland Paris's YouTube channel, and it says that it's a karaoke version. It's not karaoke. It's got the lyrics on the screen, but karaoke, it still has the singing.
Interesting. Well, I will have to check that out. I'm sorry I didn't. You did
okay.
kind of warn me. I got to check it out. Complete randomness before we go. I saw the tattoo on your arm. And
which one?
That one on your whatever it is. It just reminded me, that one. It reminded me that I dreamt that I was getting a tattoo the other night. And it was kind of like, it broke my heart. Like it was killing me. It was so weird. Like in the dream, I wanted it. But the second they started, I was like, why am I doing this? And I realized like I never saw a sample of the artwork before they started tatting my arm. And like he wrote the year 2024 on it. I'm like, why did you do that? He's like, because it's the year you got your first tattoo. And it was like, no, now I have 2024 in my arm for the rest of my life. Like it was very upsetting. So this is why I don't have a tattoo.
It probably like the artwork morphed like 10 times and then the room around you completely changed. And then
I don't remember the specifics. I just remember like the tattoo really having nothing to do with my likes or anything. And it just being kind of random and also it hurting. And it was very upsetting. I'm not going to lie. And I was like, this is why I can't get a tattoo because I'm not decisive enough to think of something I would want there forever.
So my interpretation is that 2024 is going to stay with you whether you like it or not.
Oh, great. Oh, man.
It'll be good and bad. You'll have Comic-Con panels.
Yeah.
But then also this DLP song.
As long as it's not 2023 staying with me, I'm okay with it. So, it was very weird. But in any case, yes. So I'm not getting a tattoo anytime soon. Crazy. Enough. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got, Kyle. Anything you want to add before we go?
I can't imagine what else I could add.
All right. Well, have a good one. I'll talk to you again in a couple weeks.
All right. Bye.
To read more about any and all of the stories you've heard here today, simply visit the show notes link in this episode's description. You've heard the news, and now I want to hear what you have to say about it. What do you think of all the holiday news that was recently announced? Is it getting you hyped? Share your thoughts on that or any other topics mentioned in today's episode. Call 818-860-2569, and you may just hear yourself on a future episode of Disney Coast to Coast. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Don't miss any future episodes by subscribing and following Disney with a Z, Coast to Coast on your favorite podcast app, where episodes are available 24/7. This episode has been executive produced by Jeffrey Riccio. Gain rewards like Jeffrey, including access to never-before-heard episodes and live stream Ask Me Anythings, by visiting the Patreon link in this episode's description. Until next time, anything you need can be found in this episode's description. From additional information and links discussed in this episode found in the show notes, contact info to reach me, access to the show's official website, some free gifts from me to you, and so much more. So be sure to check out this episode's description. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!